If you get a certain type of injury, it can take a while to recover because the muscles need to heal. You get some bruising, you get some bleeding. Microscopic, you might have some, the muscle needs to recover. It's about 6 to 8 weeks for the biology of healing in general when it comes to muscle, collagen, fibers, tissue, soft tissue, all of those things. I'm Doc Faisal, orthopedic surgeon with Move Smarter Health. We are sponsored by an educational grant from Kinesi Movement. I love sports. I love talking about injuries. I take care of shoulder and knee injuries, and I operate and treat on them. And please consider this an educational, informative video only. Here we go. No injury is fun. Pec injury. What is the grade? Which muscle was it? Was it the pec major or the pec minor? More than likely, they're talking about the pec major. Why? Because it's a bigger muscle. It's more important. It's actually a very interesting anatomy. I think that's why. I've treated a number of pec injuries, primarily ruptures. Those are the ones you really have to treat, where you get complete disruption of the pec major tendon. And at the end, I'll let you guys go through the anatomy. I don't want to bore you with it, but it's a really interesting confluence how the tendon insertion around the long head of the biceps tendon occurs, which relates to a lot of different types of injuries, kinematics, and various disorders and pathologies out there that can often be related to the biceps tendon or referred with the biceps tendon down the arm, but also the pec major in terms of overall posture, balance, alignment, and recovery. So, what happened? Patrick Surtain II. Now, I know I don't have to say the second, but it's on his jersey, so I got to respect that, okay? So, pec injury, let's talk about the pec major. Apparently it was a strain. So, a strain, he's going to be back in 4 to 6 weeks, according to the reports. Again, educational video. We're not talking about the specific injury. We're using it as contextual awareness of the educational component of pec injuries in general. Now, with the pec major, I do have my shoulder. Everything's falling apart, So I'm breaking everything. Well, I did break some things. Not everything. This is not broken.
Not yet.
Not yet. I can still, okay, I did just, now that would be called an AC dislocation. That's what's called a shoulder separation. So yeah, okay. So where's the pec major and minor inserting? So in this case, right, shoulder blade, collarbone, let's just reduce the shoulder separation, and you've got your humerus, okay? So pec major, there's from the chest wall, extends, attaches, in the area around the long head of the biceps on the humerus. Pec minor attaches primarily on coracoid process, right? So you got the pec minor like this, pec major like that. And the more important is the pec major. So where does the pec major insert? It inserts on the humerus, and it actually inserts on the lateral side of the long head of the biceps tendon. Why is that important? Why is that important? Well, if you go like this, anything you do where the pec major is overlying the long head of the biceps tendon, you're going to have some type of irritation on the biceps tendon if it's too tight, if it's too stiff. More often than not, what do we see in people these days? They're on computers, on their devices. This is the most common posture you will find at a train station, on a corner, outside, inside a coffee shop, pretty well anywhere, in the park. Parents, I've probably done it, watching while their kids are playing. What do? And what are we doing? Our shoulders are like this, and we're like this. So what's going on there? Everything's contracted anteriorly, okay? So if everything's contracted anteriorly, what's going to happen over time? This gets stiff. Okay, so if the pec major is stiff, then the ratcheting ability doesn't happen as much, so you don't get that elongation. And that's why people talk about stretching, expanding, opening up your space. That's the whole meme and before social media was social media, about the Superman pose and all sorts of different exercises. And all the trainers and physical therapists and physicians, we all know this, but do people implement it? No, because they don't believe that just a little bit of this is going to make a long-term transformative difference in how you overall move and function, but it does. Okay? Now, pec major injury, what's it going to affect? It's going to affect his ability to do this, okay? So it'll mostly affect a quarterback, okay? Now, he's a cornerback, right? So cornerback, so he's not really throwing, but what is he doing? He is and running, right? This is going to be affected. This is going to be affected because every time he does this, so what do you think happened? Like, did he tackle a player and then you get eccentric loading where he's contracting and someone's pushing him back? So you get that, the gears and the mechanisms of the muscle, they're all ratcheting and they're phosphorylating and anti-phosphorylating and they strain. Okay, miniature, microscopic ruptures, tears, whatever you want to call a strain, right? Again, going back to, we don't have a live image of the actual muscles at electron microscopy level to see what's actually going on in vivo, but we have sort of inferences based on what we do in the lab and in cadavers compared to what we inference is happening in human beings. So we do understand some things about what's happening with the muscle, right? And so if you get a certain type of injury, it can take a while to recover because the muscles need to heal. You get some bruising, you get some bleeding. Microscopic, you might have some, the muscle needs to recover. It's about 6 to 8 weeks for the biology of healing in general when it comes to muscle, collagen, fibers, tissue, soft tissue, all of those things. So all sorts of muscle tissue recovery. And is he going to be back full function to what he was before? I hope so. But he does have to go through stretching in arcs of motion, so he gets all his motion back, and then he also needs to do strengthening in various levels. Like you can't just do this for strengthening. You have to expand and contract, but you don't want to push the strengthening too soon. So ideally, if it's a significant strain and he isn't getting his strength back, would you put him back at 6 weeks? That's a call for the coach, the trainer, and the sports medicine physician who's actually taking care of him. Okay, this is about education in terms of the injury, not necessarily that specific injury. Okay, so if he's not fully loose, fully strong, doesn't have his full proprioceptive pain-free balance, like will he ever get pain-free? He could. You may always have some pain. I mean, we all, especially after the age of 50, son, we all have pain. Everyone has pain at some point, right? I mean, you start out with pain. Baby comes out crying because he's like, why did you take away my beautiful little home? And now I have to breathe air? Why did my voice go up like that? I don't know.
It's baby impersonation.
It's my baby impersonation. There you go. Oh, someone's going to comment on that. I love it. I love it.
What's the pec muscle doing to heal itself to a point where you can come back and play? Like, is it like regenerating? Is it like, what is it doing?
What is it doing?
Yeah.
So anytime you have any type of a strain, now you could argue, is it a microscopic tear? Is it that the ratcheting fibers, because, okay, so let's go right down to the electron microscopy level. So you got the muscles. We see them as nice, beautiful red muscle fibers that you'll see in anatomy books. But what's actually in there? You have fascia wrapping them, and then you go down, there's fibers, there's fibrils, and then there's microfibrils, and then there's collagen, and then there's muscle tissue. You go all the way down, and what is it? It's basically proteins, right? So you have actin, myosin, proteins, and these have a three-dimensional structure. That three-dimensional structure depends on ATP, Krebs cycle, ATP, phosphorylation. It's the release of the phosphorylation, so the dephosphorylation and the phosphorylation process that results in the ratcheting. So release, come back, release, come back. So you're basically having to heal that protein. So it's not like you can stitch it up. I mean, we do that. If something's completely ripped off, we stitch it. But the healing mechanism is actually, you got to put the proteins back. And the collagen, you have to put the collagen fibers in a line. So imagine a paved road, like a brick road. You got to put each brick back. Now, the body has certain limits of healing. If it's sitting like this, you can not always just fill in the gap. So we've understood from basic science and from various laboratory tests that there's a certain limit. For example, in bone fractures, we know that if you go more than a 2 centimeter gap, it will not heal. More likely than not, it will not heal and become a non-union. It's a critical gap defect. The osteons, the bone cells from the periosteum and the bone, they can't bridge that gap. So you form a callus, which is that sort of healing bone, the big bulky bone that you often see on x-rays, that if you've had a fracture, the doctor says, oh, look, I can see wisps of calcification. Or see this fuzziness? That's new bone being formed. And it often becomes bigger, and then it gets remodeled, and the body tries to remodel it reasonably aligned. Well, similarly, you have that in collagen, where it goes in inflammatory phase, bunch of tissues, muscles, proteins, regenerative, our own body's regenerative potential tries to go in. It forms a blood clot. The blood clot then tries to contract everything, line it up, and then Joey doesn't know this. Because he asked me the question. So, but you know this. I know you. You got your textbook out. You're reading right now. I know you got your textbook out. I know. So what's happening? The collagen fibrils there's Wolff's Law, right? You get a little bit of tension and movement. It helps the body understand the electromagnetic overall kinematics of what's happening. Because there's electromagnetism everywhere, right? I'm a magnetic personality. Okay, don't. Go ahead and comment. I dare you to comment, please. Yeah, I probably won't respond. It's okay. You can make fun of me. I love it. So anyway, so you get this remodeling and you get this alignment. And so what ends up happening is the body sort of carves, cleans, lines it up. And so one of the things about collagen is it's like this protein that's like a spring, but you need to line it up. If you put collagen fibers and you don't move, this is how they end up. If you move, they kind of line up according to that electrical transduction, the sort of conduction of movement, that movement which results in some type of electrical activity that also results in motion. Now, if you just do this, that's one type of motion. It's very linear, right? This is all I'm doing. My fibers are like this and I'm just doing this. Okay, that's not good enough. You have to do this. So I was in a gym and this trainer and this other athlete that was being trained. I decided to practice my tennis serve. So I took a dumbbell and I just went up and I tried to swing it, all right? And they were just cracking up. And anytime that happens, it's like, well, it's okay. They don't understand what I'm doing. The purpose is that if you're gonna throw something, you should be able to move it in the way you're gonna hit it. So you go up and you snap, all right? If you don't do that, you can't get back healthy. So whether it's football, whether it's hitting, whether it's pushing, you wanna be able to do that. That's how people train. Well, that's part of the rehab. You gotta slowly make your way back. Why not use weights to do that? Get yourself back. So in the end, did I answer your question? Yeah. Okay, good. I'll answer your questions down below, except for the things about the shirt. And I'll try and respond to your, comments about me. It's okay. You can make fun. See you guys next time.